Work can be a prayer in motion or a chain that binds us to suffering.
When we work from the ego, every achievement becomes a new thirst for recognition.
But what if I told you that true success isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by what you share?
The question isn't how much you work, but from where you work, from fear or from peace.
Imagine for a moment that two of the most influential figures in human history sat down to talk like old friends. What would they think about modern jobs, their purpose, and how to find balance in our lives? What would they say about the constant work stress that humans face day after day? Today, in this space, Jesus of Nazareth and Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, share their reflections and invite us into deep dialogue and spiritual understanding conversation, where they pour out all their wisdom, each from their own perspective and point of view. Welcome to this sacred dialogue, where mutual respect and ancient wisdom illuminate the challenges of our times. Today we present
My dear friend Buddha, today I wanted to talk to you about something I see weighing on so many people in these times. Work has become their entire identity. I've seen parents come home exhausted, unable to embrace their children because their minds are still in the office.
Yes, Jesus. It's fascinating how something that should be a means to live has become the end itself. I see people working 12 hours a day to buy things they don't need, trying to impress people they don't even truly know.
Exactly. And the most painful part is that many have lost sight of why they work. Is it to serve and create abundance for all, or has it become a desperate competition for validation?
That's the question every person should ask themselves when they wake up. Today, am I working from love or from fear? From contribution or from a need to prove something?
Let us explore together this great question of our time. You know, my dear Buddha, as I walk among the people today, I notice something peculiar. Ask them, "Who are you?" And they immediately answer with their profession. "I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm a CEO." It's as if they've forgotten that before being anything else, they are children of the same infinite love. I remember when I spoke to my disciples about the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor spin, yet they are clothed in a glory that even Solomon in all his splendor could not match. I'm not saying we shouldn't work, but we've placed work in the position that belongs only to God.
What you say is profound, my friend. In my teaching, this relates to what I call attachment to the self. A person becomes so identified with their professional role that when that role is shaken, a promotion that never comes, a layoff, retirement, they feel as though their very being is at risk. I've seen successful executives fall into deep depression after losing their position. Not because they lost money, but because they lost what they believed defined them. The suffering comes from thinking we are our temporary circumstances.
Exactly, and that's where the importance of true purpose comes in. My question to you is, how can we help people find their real identity before they define their job, and not the other way around?
Beautiful question, Jesus. I believe the answer lies in sincere contemplation. Before leaving home each morning, we could ask ourselves, what can I give today? Instead of what can I get today? When we work from generosity, every task becomes an opportunity for service. The gardener who lovingly tends to the plants is practicing the same spirituality as the doctor who heals with compassion. There are no higher or lower jobs, only different ways of expressing our gift to the world.
What a beautiful truth. I always taught that whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. In the kingdom of love, the hierarchy is inverted. True leadership doesn't come from power over others, but from the power to lift others up. I think of a mother who works as a cleaner and comes home exhausted, yet still takes the time to help her child with homework. That woman is doing sacred work in both places because her motivation is love.
Yes, and the problem arises when we lose that pure motivation. The ego turns each achievement into fuel for arrogance, and each failure into a reason for self-pity. Both are suffering.
So, dear friend, how can we work intensely? Because I do believe in giving our best without losing our inner peace. How do we find that middle point between passion and detachment?
That's the essence of the middle way I always teach. Imagine a musician tuning a string. If it's too tight, it breaks. If it's too loose, it makes no beautiful sound. Our effort in work should be just like that, balanced. I propose what I call action without attachment to the outcome. You give your best, work with all your energy and skill, but don't desperately cling to a specific result. You plant the seed with love, water it with dedication, but you cannot force the exact moment it will bloom.
The way you explain it is beautiful. I've experienced something similar. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. It's not passivity, it's working from trust rather than fear. I've seen people work 80 hours a week out of anxiety. They're terrified of not being enough, of losing what they have, of being outdone by others. And I've seen others work the same hours out of genuine love for what they do and whom they serve. The difference isn't in the hours, it's in the heart.
Exactly. The first group lives in constant suffering because their peace depends on external variables they cannot fully control. The second group has found freedom because their peace comes from within.
And here arises something crucial. In a culture that measures people's worth by their productivity, how do we maintain our humanity? How do we remember that our value is inherent and not dependent on our achievements?
That question touches the heart of the modern illusion. Society has taught us that we're worth what we produce. But that's like saying the ocean is only valuable because of the waves it makes. The ocean is valuable for its essence, not its activity. Every person enters this world with an inherent worth that no achievement can increase and no failure can diminish. A baby who hasn't produced anything is already infinitely valuable. An elder who can no longer work is still a treasure of wisdom and love.
Yes, my friend. I've always said that God loves the bird that neither sows nor reaps just as much as the most prosperous farmer. Divine love doesn't have performance conditions. I think of people I know who've found happiness working fewer hours, earning less money, but reclaiming time to be with loved ones, to create, to contemplate beauty. They've rediscovered that life is so much bigger than their careers.
And what's fascinating is that, paradoxically, when we work from this inner peace, we often become more effective and creative. Not because we're chasing effectiveness, but because we flow naturally when we're not blocked by fear and anxiety.
It's like water flowing effortlessly along the riverbed, yet it can move mountains with its patient persistence. So my question is, how can we help someone caught in the hamster wheel of compulsive work rediscover that natural flow?
Beautiful metaphor, Jesus. The first step is what I call waking up consciousness. Most people live on autopilot. Wake up, check emails, work, come home exhausted, watch TV, sleep, repeat. They never stop to ask, is this really what I want for my life? I suggest starting with small moments of silence, 5 minutes upon waking, before touching the phone, just breathing and connecting with the intention for the day. What do I want to offer today? How do I want to feel at the end of this day?
Yes, and I also think it's important to remember we're not alone. In my tradition, we say, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It's not just a nice phrase. It's a real invitation to let go of the burden of believing everything depends on our own effort. I've seen miracles happen when people stop trying to control everything and start collaborating with the greater forces of life. They find opportunities they never imagined, doors opening in unexpected ways.
And it's also crucial to develop what I call the beginner's mind. Many people feel trapped because they think it's too late to change careers, too risky to follow their passion, too complicated to simplify their lives. But every day is a new opportunity. A merchant can become a teacher, a lawyer can become an artist, an executive can find peace in gardening. The question isn't, can I change? But what small step can I take today toward a more authentic life?
Exactly, because real transformations are gradual, like the sunrise. And here I'm curious, dear Buddha, what role does community play in this process? How can we surround ourselves with people who support our growth rather than perpetuate the collective madness of compulsive work?
Such an essential question, Jesus. One of the teachings I value most is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But not just any company. We need what I call noble company. People who inspire us to be our best selves. It's very difficult to keep a balanced perspective on work when everyone around you is desperately running on the hamster wheel. Their conversations are only about promotions, salaries, competition. Their energy pulls you in.
I completely agree. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. When we surround ourselves with people who value kindness, wisdom, and service over material success, we create an energetic field that sustains us in times of doubt. I've seen people completely transform their relationship with work simply by joining spiritual practice groups, volunteering communities, or circles of friends who prioritize authentic human connection.
Yes, and it's also important to be that positive influence for others. When we start to work from peace and genuine joy, others notice. We become a silent example that another way of living is possible. We don't need to preach or convince. Our calm presence in a stressful meeting, our ability to keep compassion under pressure, our willingness to genuinely celebrate others' success. All of this is contagious.
And that's where the transformative power of love in action lies. One person working from the heart can change the atmosphere of an entire office. I've seen managers who chose to lead with humility and service create teams where people actually enjoy going to work.
So, my dear friend, as we near the end of our conversation, I wonder, what would your final message be to someone listening right now who feels lost in the culture of compulsive work? What's the most practical first step they can take today?
Beautiful final question, Buddha. My simplest advice would be, tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself these 3 questions. What brought me genuine joy at work today? When did I feel I was serving something greater than myself? And what small thing can I change tomorrow to feel more aligned with my deepest values? It's not about quitting tomorrow or making dramatic changes. It's about reconnecting with awareness, stepping out of autopilot, and beginning to make conscious choices.
I love that practice. And I would add, begin your workday with a clear intention. Before checking emails or entering meetings, take a moment to breathe deeply and ask yourself, how can I be of service today? How can I bring calm and clarity to whatever comes my way? This simple practice can transform your work experience from survival to service, from stress to meaning.
Yes, and remember you're not alone in this process. Whether you call it God, the universe, inner Buddha, or simply the wisdom of life, there is a greater force that wants to support you in living with more authenticity and less suffering.
And trust the process. Real change takes time, but every small step toward awareness is valuable. Don't compare your inner process to others' outward appearances. Your only job is to be a little more authentic today than you were yesterday.
Because in the end, dear friend, work is a form of love. When we rediscover this, everything transforms.
And when we love what we do, or learn to do with love what we must do, work becomes meditation in motion, a living prayer.
Dear listeners, I hope this conversation has planted a seed of reflection in your hearts. Work can be a prison or a dance. The difference lies in the awareness with which we approach it.
Remember, you are not what you do for a living. You are infinitely valuable beings temporarily experiencing a professional career. Keep that perspective, and peace will be possible even in the midst of the most intense demands.
And now, our question for you, to reflect on this week. If you knew that your worth as a person was completely assured, regardless of your professional success, what would you change in your relationship with work?
Take time to contemplate this question. Write it down. Meditate on it. Share it with someone you trust. Because within that answer may lie the seed of a fuller, more authentic life.
Until our next encounter, may peace accompany you in every task, great or small.
And may wisdom guide every decision on your path to a more conscious life.